welcome to Jurassic. Welcome to Jurassic Room. Now this is a Jurassic chat, I believe number 26 or so. I'll have to check real quick. But frankly, this is a discussion I've been wanting to do for so long, and it's something that really annoys me when it comes to media, especially, or, you know, just any, in general, just, I hate to say it, but just dumb people. I'm sorry, but, I mean, if you really take into account how movies shape real life, then, I pity you. But, one second. Okay, so it is number 26. So this is something I've been wanting to do for a long time. It is, okay, so if we were able to collect DNA, or, you know, it would be impossible to go back in time or whatnot, no time machines, that's impossible. Say we were able to collect DNA from ancient species like dinosaurs. Mammoth is actually a species that we could in the future see, because we're able to find so much DNA up from mammoths from permafrost, fossils in permafrost, and within frozen specimens. We found several frozen specimens, females, calves, and even a frozen bull mammoth in full. And not to mention all the fossils that we find. If you watch the latest episodes of Expedition Unknown with Josh Gates, he went out to Siberia and actually helped find some mammoth fossils from the permafrost that held some DNA in them. So that would be a species that is actually a possibility within the future. Russian scientists and geneticists are actually working on that right now. Frankly, I haven't done too much into the subject, but if you're willing to do all that, I think the best people you really get on the project would be the Russians, America, like Harvard University, and China. Because, you know, China, they've been working on genetics work a lot, and they've created, haven't they cloned dogs? And then, of course, I can't believe I'm not remembering this right, but in Ireland, haven't they been able to clone sheep? I can't remember. But anyway, say it was possible to do a dinosaur. Say if you collected it from either amber specimens. We just found an amber, a baby proto-bird chick encrusted in amber. And we found other specimens, like ancient insects and all that, like, say, in Jurassic Park, the theory of, even though, the true theory of the mosquito holding ancient DNA was explored in the 80s, you know, even though it's dead DNA, basically, what we discovered, it would not be able to hold a complete sequence. It's just too degenerated. Sorry, lost words there. But basically, that's all dead. You couldn't do that. Even though it's kind of continued in Jurassic Park, in Jurassic World as well, because, you know, they also explain that, you know, they collect from fossils as well as and all that, and that's how they create the dinosaurs and of different species. Say we were able to do that. Say it was possible we created any dinosaur. Say we could create any kind. That includes even sea reptiles or pterosaurs. This is the problem that gets me so annoyed sometimes, because, you know, it's thrown around as a joke for most point, but also people take it so literally that if you created dinosaurs, they're always going to break out. For one, I can guarantee you that if we were able to create dinosaurs, it would be relatively soon that we would see a zoo or something like that opened up with them as an attraction. I doubt they would be, like, you know, spread out, you know, something like that, you know, to different countries, you know, just selling off species. It would be like one place, something like Jurassic Park. It'd be something like that, I would imagine, and it would spread out like a franchise like Disney World, frankly. That's how I would see it happening. You'd also have to take into account just what to do with these species. You know, they need different biomes. You know, say if you took a T-Rex, it would need a deciduous forest kind of area like the Pacific Northwest, something like that. Say if you created a Spinosaurus, it would need a more aquatic area, more sandy, tropical, swampy kind of area. Say you created a... I'm trying to think... say... trying to get it... trying to think... Dinosaurs didn't really take place too much in tropical areas most of the time. Say if you created a Microraptor, you would need more of a tropical rainforest type biome. And that would be one of the problems with this. If you were spread them out, you would need a park or a facility that could house the different needs of the animals. Like, you kind of see in Jurassic World, Rexy's in her own kind of redwoods kind of exhibit. But also the fact that they would always escape, that is almost not true. If you go to the zoo, do you see any animals really escaping? No, that's highly rare, and I can almost guarantee you that a dinosaur that would cost probably millions of dollars just to create one, I can guarantee you that anyone who owned that animal, basically, you create it, you own it, frankly. And that would be one of the biggest problems if you did create dinosaurs. Like the whole thing of, if we created them, do we own them? Are they just, what do we do with them now? Because they are not a natural species anymore. That's one of the problems that you kind of explore in Jurassic Park, the novel as well. And as well as what we might be experiencing in Jurassic World 2, which I'm going to start doing much more Jurassic World 2 videos in the future, again, to address all this. That's legal problems as well. And that happens just today, just cloning different animals like dogs or sheep. I mean, there's a lot of backlash at creating animals. So, but back to the fact of escaping. I can just guarantee you that no one would ever allow any of these animals to ever escape in its exhibit. And neither a dinosaur, frankly, if you created the right exhibit. I mean, if you put say a Deinonychus in a chain link fence-like area, it would probably escape. I mean, I'm just saying like that. A dog can escape it. If that were the case, then they'd probably escape, and that would be just dumb on anyone who would ever design that. But I can almost guarantee you that the best architecture would be put into these kinds of exhibits or whatnot if something like this was created. And frankly, people, when you talk about, say, name a dinosaur from Jurassic Park, you're going to say Velociraptor, and people think that these raptors actually existed. I cannot tell you how many people I've met that actually believe like Velociraptors in Jurassic Park are real. They were hyper intelligent, smarter than dolphins or whales. They could vocalize with each other, which the vocalizing is probably true, but they kill everyone. Just man-eating monsters, and they'll escape and they'll create havoc on the ecosystem. That would not be true. Okay, say. If you had a T-Rex, it's not going to break out of exhibit, it's not a thing that's bound to happen. These are animals. They're intelligent animals, but they're just like any other animal. If you give them the space, you feed them well, they'll be happy in their habitat, just like any other animals like elephants or lions. So, frankly, I don't know where else to go with this. This is just something I want to get out in the open in this discussion. That a real Jurassic Park, if feasible, would not be doomed to disaster like in the movies. It's just not. This is really just a video for a few people. I'm sorry to say, but I can't tell you how many times I've heard this. Heard the people like this. Or crack the joke, they're bound to escape, you don't want it to end up like Jurassic Park. That was a movie based on a novel, based on science from the 80s and 90s. Today, we know T-Rex probably had feathers. They didn't roar, they probably vocalized similar to birds. We have a lot of science now, just judging a completely different animal than the hyperactive carnivores we saw in Jurassic Park. A real Velociraptor was not 12 feet long and 6 feet high, as tall as a person. They were about 3 feet high, just about 4 feet long, about the size of a pit bull, something like that. Covered in feathers. Their arms were not like this; they were more like this. They did not have the that kind of jaw. I should draw a picture or something like that. They had a very slender jaw. I think that's all I can cover right now about the subject. So I think that's about it. I mean, that's really all you need to know about this general subject. Is if Jurassic Park was feasible, I can guarantee you that none of this would ever be feasible to happen. You know, it wouldn't be like Prehistoric Park earlier, because frankly, whose idea would it be? I know it's an animated, you know, documentary, but I mean, come on. Even for an animated documentary, who in their wildest dreams would build paddocks out of wood for a T-Rex alone? You know, there's the Titanosaurs always broke the habitats and all that, but I mean, seriously, who would build a wood paddock for a T-Rex? All in all, Henry Wu, I think, said it best.
You are acting like we are engaged in some kind of mad science. But we are doing what we have done from the beginning. Nothing in Jurassic World is natural. We have always filled gaps in the genome with the DNA of other animals. And if their genetic code was pure, many of them would look quite different.
For the rest of the argument, okay, so let's consider a few more. Let's consider, okay, I'm not going to go into, like, Permian animals and all that. Let's just do, say, ancient sea reptiles, or, you know, aquatic animals and pterosaurs. Okay, pterosaurs, it's kind of hard to decide what their aggressive meter would be, but I can almost guarantee you they would not be lifting people and throwing people around and just pecking the people to death. I can guarantee you just about that. I can almost guarantee that if you put them in it'd be kind of difficult to give them a big enough paddock. They would need a cage. They would need a lot of area, considering these things traveled around the world. Frankly, I don't even think it would be possible to build an enclosure for, say, a full-grown Pteranodon or a Quetzalcoatlus. Something like a Dimorphodon or Rhamphorhynchus or Ananguara, Tapaguara, something like that could be feasible, but I mean, an animal with a 20-foot wingspan that travels around the world, you know what I mean? It'd be very difficult to do. They would be just massive exhibits. And as for ancient sea reptiles, I mean, they would need large areas as well. You would have to, I mean, massive exhibits for these kinds of animals. I mean, SeaWorld, they kept a gray whale in, what was it, a 5 million gallon aquarium? Or aquarium, because it was being, nursed back to health. I mean, these animals need massive exhibits. And as for the aggressive factor as to why it'd be a bad idea, it'd be no more than most other sharks or other dangerous species. But I mean, the only thing would be truly hard would be just their size. I mean, most plesiosaurs get to about 20 feet long, the biggest being Elasmosaurus at around 40 feet long. The biggest marine reptiles coming in at around 60 feet long, like Loropleurodon or Tylosaurus or Mosasaurus. And one more thing, something like a Megalodon, even if it was feasible, would be impossible to keep. You could not keep it in any exhibit. It would need almost 100,000 gallons. No, I mean 100 miles of ocean. Okay, say a great white. So this is from studies from not the Georgia Aquarium. I'm forgetting the name of the aquarium, but the studies from there show that when they've tried to keep great white sharks, they need at least a mile of ocean per foot, nearly. Because most of the sharks are around 13 feet long, you know, something like that, you know, that they were able to keep alive. They just could not keep the sharks alive for a extended period of time. They just always died. And that's just from the science from that aquarium study. Say a giant, the biggest great white shark at around 25 feet long would need about 25 miles of open ocean. So a Megalodon feasibly just to live would be almost 60 miles of open ocean. To be comfortable, probably well over 100 miles. And I mean, that's about a quarter of a way through America. That's how much ocean this thing needs. just one needs, let alone if you wanted to breed more. These animals could not be just brought into the world into exhibits. They would need literally the whole world as their fishbowl. That's one thing about Megalodon. Everyone is like, you know, like that. I just want to throw that in. But I think that's just a good close to this little rant. I think I kind of screwed up with the pterosaur and reptile, but I think I covered the dinosaurs perfectly, or, you know, good enough. But frankly, it's just something I wanted to get out. Thanks, guys, for watching. Stay tuned for more videos. Let's hit that 400 subscriber mark and check out the future Jurassic videos I'll be working on. And happy Jurassic June, everyone. June 16th. Let's hit the 400 subscriber mark. Oh man, I'm tired.